I thought they did last year with Michelle D for different reasons, of course, but that didn't happen. But this year, because the Philippines is such a powerhouse in the industry, I think they won't have a choice but to look at her. If you look at Chelsea Manalo, she is so outgoing. She has this wonderful pasarela, and she is doing everything that it takes to showcase what it means to be not only Black, but more importantly, to be a Black Filipina, because of the history of the Philippines, once being a colony of Spain, but also being a colony of the United States. And the United States has I think it was 2 bases that they had over there. With the American GIs and all of that, we already know what has happened. A lot of children were born to American GIs, and some know their parents, but a lot more do not. And so it is just interesting to see that there is so much biracial. There's so many biracial people in the Philippines, and a lot of them are of Black descent. But to see them being represented, and even the indigenous people, the Filipinos that's there, that maybe they're not fair skinned, they're like, hey, they're living out in the provinces and stuff, but they're seeing this on TV, they're seeing some representation of them on TV. I think that is a wonderful thing. What's up, pageant patrons? This is Isaac, and thank you for watching today's video. I just want to send a huge shout out to Chelsea Manalo, Miss Universe Philippines 2024, her team. She is absolutely amazing. I've watched several videos, and I've seen all of the photos of her, and when I say she is stunning, that is an absolute understatement. She is absolutely flawless in these videos. She looks radiant, she is vivacious, and it is so very, very nice to see. So I've got to give them a huge kudos on the way that they are really promoting her. Miss Universe Philippines, the organization, is doing a fantastic job. They took the plunge. I didn't think they would. If you have watched any of my videos, then you will know that a few videos back, I actually posed the question, was the Philippines ready for a Black queen? And I am so glad that in this case, I was wrong. The Philippines, they were ready. The talent pool this year was tough. The judges had a phenomenal job to try to figure out who was the best. They ultimately chose Chelsea Manalo, and I'm so very glad they did. She is just doing, she's just doing an excellent job. I read this article by Dam Belton. It's an online article, so I hope you get the chance to read it. I'll try to leave the link for you in my description. But he actually stated that there have been darker skinned queens. They have not won. And so that was my surprise as well when Chelsea Manalo was announced. In my comments, I laughed a little bit. I responded to a few of them. And when they said, oh, you look surprised. Hell yes, I was surprised. I just did not think that the Philippines would do it. But in the article, Dam Belton states that the dark-skinned beauty queens in the past included Miss Universe 1960 Gloria Diaz and finalists Chat Silayan, Desiree Verdadero, and Venus Raj, who finished in the pageant's top 5 in 1982, 1984, and 2010 respectively. And so now we can add 2024 of having a queen. But there is this huge reason why, and I didn't want to say it on video, but in reaction to this article, I just will go ahead and say it. Part of that is because she is dark skinned, but let me read the article, just a little small part of the article. And this subsection, it says color, class, and creams. And again, reading from the article, still some mixed reactions to Manalo's win, with some resorting to ethnic and racial slurs. And we all know that that's always a horrible thing. Also highlighted more work to be done in breaking down colorism and achieving truly progressive beauty standards, analysts said. Films and advertisements continued to feature darker skinned Filipinos as token representations, as local media continues to perpetuate images of fairer skin as the beauty ideal, from advertisements of whitening products to the popularity of K-pop celebrities, says Julian Baldo Cabello, and she's an associate professor. While Manalo's win might be a triumph for some progressive Filipinos, this perception remained among some in society. And here is the big reason why I did not think the Filipinos would crown a black queen. For every one representation of a brown-skinned beauty, there are 10 other women being celebrated for their fair skin. Perhaps the most alarming sign of light skins important to some Filipinos is the growing popularity of glutathione drips, often referred to as gluta drips, as a skin whitening treatment. And as we know here in the States, we sort of have an old saying that white is right. So in other words, if you're lighter skinned, you have more popularity, you tend to be a little bit more, at least the perception is you are of a higher economic class. But for me, and for you history buffs, I know history bores a lot of people, but I think the Philippines was founded somewhere in the mid 1500s by the Spaniards and was a colony of Spain for some 300 years. Well, for the most part, it's lighter skinned people in Spain. And so I'm sure the indigenous people of the Philippines were sort of relegated to doing menial tasks. And that's no different here in the States, especially here in the South. So and that was kind of one of the reasons why I thought, that the Philippines would not do it. There is this huge idea. And again, that whole idea of colonialism and white people coming in to sort of take over the Philippines. And so then the natural dark-skinned beauty of the Philippines is relegated to, second-class citizens, if you will. That's a hard ceiling to break through. It hasn't been done in other countries, and it's still being done in other countries. The answer is yes. It is that continual fight. And so I don't think Chelsea Manalo is any different in that respect, is trying to fight that fight of, hey, just because I have dark skin, I have something to offer. But I just have to give kudos to Chelsea Manalo, Miss Universe Philippines 2024, and the organization for taking that step to say, hey, if we really want to promote women, we need to promote women of all colors. And so other countries have done it. It's not a big deal, but I think, especially with the Filipinos being an Asian country, and that whole idea of white is right. Everybody's trying to get the glutathione drips, the skin whitening treatments. And when I went to the Philippines, it's probably been about 10 or 12 years since I've been to the Philippines. They have a lot of skin whitening soaps, and my friends were joking with me, are you going to try that? I'm like, oh no, I'm not going to try that. This is what I got. This is what God gave me. I am going to stick with this. But it is that whole colonial idea of white is right. Now, I use that term because for me it fits. That's just what I grew up with, and so for the Philippines to do that, it is just wonderful. And again, I always go back to, if you're gonna promote all biological women, let's promote all biological women, especially in a beauty contest. Expose those young women to all shades of the spectrum. And so I just have to say, what a wonderful job that's happening right now. I'm looking forward to seeing what is going to happen to Chelsea Manalo. The women that I have been seeing, I believe I saw Miss Peru, and she's absolutely gorgeous. And there's a couple of candidates in another contest that I'm watching. They are absolutely gorgeous. It is going to be very interesting to see. Do I believe the Philippines has a chance to win Miss Universe this year? I thought they did last year with Michelle D, for different reasons, of course, but that didn't happen. But this year, because the Philippines is such a powerhouse in the industry, I think they won't have a choice but to look at her. If you look at Chelsea Manalo, she is so outgoing. She has this wonderful pasarela, and she is doing everything that it takes to showcase what it means to be not only black, but more importantly, to be a Black Filipina, because of the history of the Philippines, once being a colony of Spain, but also being a colony of the United States. And the United States has I think it was 2 bases that they had over there. With the American GIs and all of that, we already know what has happened. A lot of those, a lot of children were born to American GIs, and some know their parents, but a lot more do not. And so it is And it is just interesting to see that there is so much biracial, there's so many biracial people in the Philippines, and a lot of them are of Black descent. But to see them being represented, and even the indigenous people, the Filipinos that's there, that maybe they're not fair skinned, they're like, hey, you know, they're living out in the provinces and stuff, but you know, they're seeing this on TV, they're seeing some representation of them on TV. I think that is a wonderful thing, not only for the Philippines, but just for anybody that's watching the Philippines right now. They're getting a lot of airtime, if you will. There's a lot being said, at least, you know, from what I can see. Has the Philippines, you know, will they actually win? Have they actually, you know, gotten to the point to where they are ready to showcase, you know, Black people in a more elevated space? And I don't know. I think only time will tell. Only time will tell. You know, like the article just said, for every one maybe darker skinned person that you see, there's 10 people that's being praised for their skin. You can just easily take a look at YouTube. Look at how many white people are reporting on Filipino matters, and look at their huge following as compared to maybe some of the Filipinos that are reporting, you know, in the country. It can be said, well, you look at it. I mean, it's easy to find. So you look and you tell me, what do you see? I mean, you see the white bloggers with these huge amounts of views, and there are some people there, some Filipinos that are right there that maybe aren't getting as much. That might not be a fair comparison, because there are a few, because I'm thinking of one or two Black bloggers that also do pageant contents, and they have huge followings as well. But is it balanced? I don't know. You let me know what you think. It's an interesting topic to talk about, and but I would love to know what you think about sort of the whole idea of a black skin queen. And so the author of the article poses the question, did diversity win? And he says, yes, diversity did win, because the Philippines is a diverse place, and it is just nice to see that diversity being on display. So if you made it this far, just let me say thank you so much for watching today's video, and let me know what you think. If I'm right, if I'm wrong, you know I don't care. I just like the engagement. So I tell you what, you guys hit me up. Peace out.